Bienvenido to practice in Mexico. I'm here at Hotelito Los Sueños. I've been here for almost 2 weeks. 2 weeks late tonight, I think, and I have not done as much yoga as I would like because there's so much wonderful life to be had out here and so many wonderful things and friends. But at the same time, I wanted to share a little piece of inspiration that I got. So while I've been here, I've been doing a lot of surfing, and when you're laying on the surfboard, frequently, like, you're in this position, you got a paddle, and you're looking back at the waves, and I just really noticed that there was room for a lot more mobility here in this upper back and to have the strength for your paddle. So that's what we're going to focus on today, is opening up these shoulders and whatnot, and then also do a little bit of balancing, when you're balanced on the board, and these are your feet, they're, kind of back and forth, and all those little tiny muscles that hold you up straight. So we will work on a little bit of that. I recommend if you have 2 blocks, that's great. If you're at home and you do not have these things, anything that you could stand on will need to bear a lot of weight on it. And if not, you can always just stand on the ball of your foot. That will also activate a lot of balance muscles. And then also strap, depending on your flexibility. Again, you can use a towel, t-shirt, exercise band, lots of options. And then don't mind me, I've got my notebook here because I've been away from home for over 3 weeks, and I'm not sure my brain even functions in any type A format anymore, so I might have to peek at my notes, but I think I came up with a pretty good class. At least I like it. So let's get started. We'll go ahead and lay on our backs in Supta Baddha Konasana. So on your backs, soles of the feet touching, knees wide, and then palms up. I love starting in this position because it's an open, expansive position, and puts you in a position to be ready to receive love and wonder and experiences and all that is offered to you, because those things are always out there waiting. You just have to be ready to receive them. So go ahead, close your eyes, and start to let go. Let go of anything that you're thinking about, worried about, yesterday, tomorrow. We're here in this moment and being present in this moment. Consciousness in the moment is love, and your ego worried about what's to come or what happened is not. Just start to let go. Anything and all that you're holding on to. Just be here in this moment. Just you, your body, and your breath. Slow breath in through the nose and out through your mouth. Seeing if each inhale can be a little bit longer than the last one, and each exhale a little bit longer than the last one. Using your tempo of breathing to bring stillness throughout your body, calmness in your heart, calmness in your brain, calmness in all of your tissues. And knowing that you have this power with you at any time and anywhere that you are to come back to your breath. Slight tempo breathing here. So we'll inhale to a count of 4, hold for a count of 4, and exhale to a count of 4, and hold it again. So it's kind of it's like a box breathing. So inhale, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2, 3, 4, exhale, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2, 3, 4, inhale, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2, 3, 4, exhale, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2, 3, 4, inhale, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2, 3, 4, exhale, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2, 3, 4. And then let it all go. Come back to your regular breathing. In and out through your nose. Noticing any added stillness that you found in your body, even since we just began these few moments ago. And then go ahead and hug your knees into your chest. And roll around on your back a little bit. See if you can find any knotty spaces and just let them go. And then we'll do a spinal twist. So take your arms out like a T and drop your knees over to the right, gazing towards the left. And then knees back up towards center. Let them fall towards the left. Knees over to the right. Back towards center, and then go ahead and rock and roll a couple times. Come up to a seated position, and we'll do a little neck stretches here. So you could stay on your mat normal way, so just a cross-legged seat. If you want to sit on one of your blocks, you absolutely can. And then go ahead and take your right arm and walk it out a little ways towards the right, and then you can plant your palm, and keeping your elbow kind of tucked in for an external rotation. Go ahead, take your neck over to the left so that you get a nice stretch all through this right area. And if you want to pull your head down a little bit, you can. Usually there's a pretty good stretch either way. All right, through these muscles here. Yeah, mine are super tight. They love this. Just focusing on sending breath to those body parts that are tight, letting them open up, giving them permission to relax. They work so hard for you all day. Now it's time to just let them let go. And bring your head back up towards center. Walk your right arm in, and then we'll take your left arm, walk it out a little bit so that you can kind of, once again, just curl the elbow under, tuck it so that you have a nice external rotation through your shoulder. And then let your head fall over to the right. Again, if you want to point your head a little bit, if you need that, you can. I definitely don't. Getting a stretch here as is. Focusing on your breathing and letting that body part relax. You're in this present moment. And then head back towards center. And go ahead and roll over onto your knees, hands and knees, so on all fours. So we'll go ahead and do a little bit of forward here. So you're going to extend your right leg out, left arm forward, and then go ahead and curl them in towards the middle. Go into a full extension of your spine. And we'll go back out, curl in, out, curl in, extend, contract, extend, contract. And on this exhale, go ahead and reach back for your foot if you can grab the outside. If you need more balance, you can tuck your toes on your grounded foot. And then go ahead and extend. This is called Tiger Pose. See, as much as you can open your hip and your chest. And then go ahead and release those, coming back to all fours. Ground down, get balanced again. And we'll do the other side. So left leg extends long, right leg out. And I exhale, contract. Inhale, extend. Exhale, contract. Inhale, extend, exhale, contract, inhale, extend, exhale, contract, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. And a nice extension, pause there, and we'll go ahead and come around for Tiger Pose On the other side, so again, trying to keep your torso in line, facing forward, and then let all of the twist come from your shoulder and your hip, extending out in a way. And then come back to your breath whenever it feels intense. You want to come back to your breath and remind yourself that you are okay here in this position. You can come out at any time. All right, and then go ahead and release that. All right, and then since I'm a little bit of a fitness lady too, we're now going to really bring some heat and whatnot into this. We're going to go ahead and do a max plank hold. So we're going to do a plank just, as long as you can hang in there. If you want to time yourself, you can. I like doing that because it helps me fight longer at the end. Our brains can be jerks and tell us that, oh, this is hard, you've got to get out of there. And that goes for all situations. It goes for fitness, work, family, relationships. But you want to learn to train the brain and say, this is hard, but I can go a little bit farther. I'm not going to time mine because I'm filming on my phone, but if you want to, go ahead. Otherwise, we'll just, let's line up for a really, really well stacked plank. So you want to have your hands shoulder width apart. Your index fingers are facing towards the front of the mat or maybe a little outwards, depending on your shoulder flexibility. And then you want to extend your legs, and you just want to have a nice, I guess a tummy tuck too, so almost as if you're in your cat pose. And then so you can almost be squeezing a block with your elbows too, imagine that. And now we'll kind of get into it and see how long this takes. And if you come out, go ahead and catch your breath. And if you want to come back onto your knees and kind of do a final blast out from your knees, that's okay. If you want to quit and just rest, already there's enough heat and blood flowing through the shoulders that you've already gotten the benefit. But at the same time, if you want to train your brain to tolerate a little pain and hang in there a little bit longer, absolutely, that's a skill that will not ever serve you wrong. Everything starts to hurt, and you start to taste that lactic acid milkshake, you know you're on the right track. All right, I just wanted to quit and I didn't. I just dug a little deeper. And now I'm slightly miserable, but I'm not a quitter. Okay. All right, then go ahead and walk your hands forward for puppy stretch pose. And again, keep your shoulders in the sockets. Bringing your shoulders out of the sockets is not really a stretch. That's just not safe. So keep your shoulders in the sockets. And then go ahead and once you've got a good grip, go ahead and bow your chest down. All right, inviting softness back into your body. Sometimes you can be tough and sometimes you can be soft. That's what these tough yoga practices are all about, balancing between the two. Moving between them with grace. Go ahead and walk up, and go ahead and walk your hands back. We're going to come into the bottom of our squat pose. I'll go ahead and try to face you guys for this, although I'm not. My bottom of the squat isn't the best due to my flat feet, but that's why we practice. So if you can get your feet flat, absolutely, please do. I've always got tight calves and ankles. And then if you want to sit up, if you can, with your spine straight, as straight as possible. Remember, we're always a work in progress and our bodies require maintenance too. So even if you can get something, if you don't keep it up, you might lose it, and that's totally okay. You can always come back to working on it. So again, catch your breath in your center here. Do that deep stretch nice in your hips. And then we'll do a little spinal rotation from here. So take your right hand walk it out a little bit past your knee. So you got a nice straight arm here. And then take your left hand up to the sky. And if you can gaze up that way, you can. If you want to take a bind behind your knee. Go ahead and do that. And go ahead and release that bind. If you're working on it, come back to center. Re-lengthen your spine. So you're nice and tall. And other side. So left hand will walk out a little bit past your knee. Your right hand rotate up towards the sky, gazing towards your right arm. And then if you want to take that bind, go for it. If you want to stay where you were at, just stay where you were at. Again, this is if you can't quite reach it and you want to take the bind, use your towel or your strap. Or come back to your regular bottom of squat. Whatever feels good to you. Your body will always tell you what it wants and what it needs if you can slow down and listen to it and take your ego out of the way. Instead of this is what I need to be doing, your body will tell you like this feels good, this doesn't feel good, I want to do more or I want to do less. It will definitely give you that feedback. But you have to let go of your ego of what you think you should be doing, what other people are doing, what's the right answer. Oh, sorry, I got a little distracted. I'm squatting in the yoga studio. Literally, I'm in a squat, but also it's somebody else's studio for a while, but they said I could use it. So anyways, come out of your bottom squat however you want to. And then go ahead and step towards the front of your mat. Taking your hands in prayer, gazing down at your fingers. This is a good time to set an intention for your practice. It can be the fact that you love that you practice yoga. You love that you're taking care of your body. You set a special intention for positive relationships in your life. You're celebrating the weather. You are not thinking about anything else other than your practice. I will go ahead and let you set yours. It's always very personal. I almost always ask for more love in my life because that's really what it's all about. So anyways, 3 Surya Namaskar A, sun salutations. Circle sweep your arms up towards the ceiling, gazing towards your palm, asking for energy and light from the universe, and then circle sweep your arms down, bringing all that energy back in towards yourself. Gaze forward in a halfway lift. Go ahead and plant your hands, step back to a high plank, lower into your Chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. And then go ahead, since it's our first down dog, go ahead and take a couple, walk out your dog, right heel down, left heel down, stretching out those calves so that maybe your bottom of your squat will be a little bit, have a little better mobility next time. And gazing towards the front of your mat, go ahead and we'll walk forward on this one too. Walk forward, feet to meet your hands, and a forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, Uttanasana. Inhale, circle sweep your arms up, asking for love and energy from the universe. Circle sweep your arms down, folding all that energy back in towards yourself. Inhale, Arda Uttanasana. Exhale, Uttanasana. And go ahead and jump or step to the back of your mat into your Chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Go ahead and gaze towards the front of your mat, coming onto your toes, and go ahead and step or jump to the front of your mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, circle sweep your arms up towards the sky, gazing at your palms. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway. Exhale, step or jump to your Chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. All right, and then we're going to come into, we did 3 sun salutation A's, so we'll do 3 sun salutation B's, and we'll add a couple of little neck mobility spots into that. So go ahead, gaze towards the front of your mat, step or jump to the front. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. All right, inhale, rise up into your chair pose. Your feet are together, knees are together, sitting your bum down. Try and keep your core tucked if you can. I'm not good at that, so hopefully it looks okay. Your shoulders wrapped in around, your arms straight, using head and forward. And then your exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Go ahead and plant your hands. Jump back into your Chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Then pause here, so we'll go ahead and work on some more thoracic mobility. So try to gaze over your right shoulder, looking at your right foot. Trying to keep your spine facing forward, but the rotation coming from next shoulder. Then head back towards center, and we'll do the same, looking over your left shoulder with your left foot. And again, trying to keep your spine in a straight line facing forward. And back towards center. Exhale, downward facing dog. Go ahead and take your right foot up towards the sky, and then go ahead and step it forward between your hands, grounding your back foot down. Come up into warrior one. And then the pelvis should be tilted forward, knee over the ankle, arms, shoulders should be in the socket, and then keeping them straight wherever that means that they might be, because you're working on your long-term shoulder mobility. And then from here we'll come into a cactus pose, so or field goal, however you want to take that. And again, try to get your scapula all the way back, as if you're trying to hug a pencil between your shoulder blades on your spine. And then go ahead and plant your hands on the ground, step back into plank pose, lower into your Chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. We'll do those shoulder gazes, left, right, then left. Exhale, downward facing dog. Take your left foot up into the air. Go ahead and step it between your feet, grounding your right foot back at a 45-degree angle. Again, knee over the ankle on the front forward foot, pelvis facing forward, and rise up into your warrior one pose. Take a couple breaths here for balance on both sides. And then come into that cactus field goal pose. And hold this for a second. Again, trying to pinch that pencil between your shoulder blades in the back. See all this great opening around your chest. Connect into your breath, staying strong and stable. And then go ahead and plant your hands around your front foot. Step back into your plank pose. Lower to Chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Shoulder peaks. Peekaboos, we'll call it. Exhale, downward facing dog. Okay, that was one. So your Namaskar B. We're going to do two more. So take a breath here, and then gaze towards your hands. Rise into your toes. Step or hop to the front of your mat. And then go ahead and come into a halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, rise up into your Bakasana chair pose. Pushing down through all four corners of your feet so that you're bringing balanced energy all the way up. Keeping that pelvis tilted so you get a little bit of core work even here. Gazing forward. Take two breaths, just hold this pose nice and steady, strong and stable. And then on your exhale, go ahead and forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, plant your hands, step or jump to the back of your mat. Chaturanga. Upward facing dog. Shoulder peekaboos. What's going on back there? And then exhale into your downward facing dog. Inhale, right foot to the sky. Exhale, step in between. Rise into your warrior one. Now we've done a nice proud warrior one. Go ahead and plant your hands. Step back into your plank pose. Lower to Chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Left foot towards the sky. Go ahead and step it in between your hands. Dropping your back foot. Using your arms up towards the sky. Feeling strong and warrior-like. Warrior for the day, whatever your day's battle might be. And then go ahead and plant your hands. Step back into plank. Over to Chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Two breaths in your down dog. Return to your center. And then we'll go ahead and gaze towards the front of your mat. Rise up onto your toes. Walk or jump to the front of your mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, rise into your chair pose, Bakasana. Take more breaths. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, plant your hands, jump to the back of your mat. Inhale, upward dog, shoulder peekaboos. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, right foot towards the sky. Step up between your hands. Raise it up into warrior one. And again, trying to keep your whole pelvis area nice and straight, not scooped. None of this, none of this. You want it to be nice and stable so that you don't have no blocked energy flowing through. Exhale, bring your foot up in your plank. Exhale, Chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Left foot up towards the sky. Stepping in between your hands, grounding down. Raising up into your warrior one. On the left side. We were here for a minute last time, so we'll take a few breaths here to stay balanced. Exhale, bring your foot. Step back into your plank pose. Exhale, Chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Right up, shoulder peekaboos. You can start with the left if you want, mix it up. And then exhale into your downward facing dog. Okay, a couple breaths here. And then we'll go ahead and walk your hands to the back of your mat. Coming into a hanging forward fold. And then since we're working on opening up the spine, go ahead and take your hands and clasp them behind your head so that they use a little bit of the weight of your hands, use some traction on your head to bring a little bit more space between each of those vertebrae. And then just use that weight, just let your head go. Your head's not going to fall apart from your body, so you can just let that weight hang. Going back to your ujjayi breathing, in and out through your nose. Using your breath to maintain mental control over your body and your experience here in this moment. And then go ahead and release that. And you can sway a little bit side to side. And then we're going to rise to stand, but keeping your head low. Come up one vertebrae at a time so that your head is the very last thing to straighten. And go do little shoulder rolls. I always love those. I need to grab a sip of water. My mouth's super dry. And then the next thing that we're going to work on here is take your blocks anywhere you want to set them up. I'll go ahead and face you for this. I'm just going to set them next to each other. If you only have one, you can work with one. And then I'll go ahead and stand on a little platform. And putting on your blocks and your foot size, these are soft, squishy ones, so I can already start to feel a little bit of, wobbling around. So what we're going to do is work on balancing on these blocks. So start where I'm balancing on the right foot, and we're coming into tree pose is the goal. So if you lift up and one foot is already crazy wobbly, you can just stay there and work on that balance. I mean, this is challenging for me as well. You can take tree pose from your ankle, from your calf, and you can go all the way up to your thigh. Sometimes this might help with a circular energy pattern. And I don't know how well it shows up on camera, but I'm definitely wobbling all over the place. But that's getting stronger. Every little wobble, you build a little bit of strength. If you're really just a mastermind, go ahead and rise all the way up into your full tree. I mean, you can always take half lotus here as well. I think I'm just going to try to focus on really pushing into that block instead too, and just being the commander of my space. All right, so whenever you come out of that, go ahead and shake it off. Lots of blood flowing through that leg. I'm going to go ahead and try the other side. Again, you can just stand on your one foot. Keeping your other one out as your kickstand, your backup plan B. Or go ahead and bring it to your desired calf or thigh. Never ever on the knee. You don't want to push your foot on your knee. And then again, to maintain your balance, try to maintain control of your breath. Instead of thinking about hoping you're not going to fall, focus on breathing and maintaining this current existence where you're strong and stable. And just breathe here Your life flows where your energy goes. So if you think about falling all the time, then you will. It's this crazy manifestation energy. But if you focus on being strong and holding this beautiful balancing tree pose, then maybe you will. And if you fall, get back up and try again, or rest. All right. So yeah, this is really good for surfing. I noticed the waves come back and forth. So it's really good for that. So that's, there you go, that's that one. If you are still at the back of your mat, I don't know what happened with the blocks. I didn't plan it quite perfectly, but we were at the back of the mat when we started. And you can take this little split leg lunge using your blocks to help your spine stay straight. Extending your leg, or your right leg out, and then stepping it forward between your blocks. Step your blocks forward a little bit. Extend your left leg so you get this nice lovely hamstring stretch. Keeping your spine straight. Step that one between your blocks. Step your blocks forward. Extend your right leg. This should do really good in your hips. And step that one forward. Step your left leg back. And then have it come meet your feet. But I'm gonna set my blocks aside for the moment. We might revisit that in a little bit for extra practice. And then we'll go ahead and come into our Sphinx Pose. Go ahead and lay down your mat. So Sphinx Pose, I found myself doing this all the time when I was out surfing. Using the hands to kind of help stabilize the board. And then, the really good surfers, I think, are able to like pivot around really quick. But some of us are not that good yet. So I was always like, where's that wave coming? Oh, I can't see very well. And so your Sphinx Pose have a really beautiful, strong, stable Sphinx Pose. Your elbows should be shoulder width apart. And you really want a lot of the energy focus to be in your elbows here so that they are, if you focus your energy too much in your hands, your elbows might splay. If you focus your energy too much on your shoulders, they'll get tight. So you really want to have the focus being on your elbows as far as keeping them in line, keeping your hands in a good line, and then being able to use your elbows to externally rotate your shoulders to keep your chest open and broad so that you are a tall, proud Egypt Sphinx and not a sad, floppy Sphinx that no one wants. So you're tall, proud, letting your whole your chest shine forward. Even if you can go back to that idea of pinching the pencil between your shoulder blades, now it's a really good time for that as well. So, and once you feel like you found your most open, strong point, let's go ahead and just take some like head rolls so that you get used to having some neck mobility while maintaining a really strong, stable Sphinx. So, roll your head one direction. Other direction. And then whenever you feel good, come back to center and realign up your Sphinx Pose. Maybe your head rolls shifted some things around. So go ahead and come back into using your elbows as your power point. To keep your shoulders open and your hands able to grip forward. And then from here we're going to come into our half frog pose, Arda Bakasana. So you'll basically want to stay in kind of the same position. To start getting into it, you take your left arm and then rotate it in a little bit. This is more comfortable for me for balance. You can put it wherever you want. And then we're going to lift your right leg up, bend it at the knee. And then come back and we're going to grab the right foot. And again, if this is too much for you, just use a strap and you can just hold here. This is going to be great shoulder opening and you're still lengthening your psoas and whatnot. And then for those of us with more mobility, what you're going to want to do is grab from the inside of your foot, and if you can bend your foot forward enough, this is called a flip the grip sort of. So you'll want to turn it so your toes, your fingers are covering the tops of your toes. and then we'll go ahead and hold here. So this is our half frog, Arda Bakasana. Should be doing a great chest opener. It's good for your shoulder rotation, also lengthening your quad and hip flexor, all of which we will want for a pose that we're going to be doing in a little bit. And again, this is a little bit of an intense stretch, so come back to your breath. Remembering that pain is just a growing transition. That pain is usually just in the mind, and it's part of the fact that you're coming into a new existence that you didn't really understand before, physically or mentally. And so it's stressful for your body and your brain to figure out how to handle this new existence. But it's really just a past moment. So go ahead and let that right side go. Come back into your Sphinx. We'll use this as our centering pose right there. And then go ahead and we'll take half frog on the other side. Using your right arm as your kickstand. And reaching back to that foot, grabbing at the inside of your foot. And again, use your strap if you need to. Otherwise, try to flip your fingers over so that they're covering the toes and facing the front of your mat. And release that whenever you feel done. Coming back into your Sphinx pose, lined up, using your shoulders. I don't know if you find even a little more space here. I think that I do. Keep that chest nice and wide open. Those back muscles are really letting go to hold you all together. All right, so the next thing we're gonna do to keep your shoulders warm, we're gonna work a headstand. And if you want to go towards the wall for a headstand, that's the beauty of YouTube classes. You can pause and go do that. If you are not comfortable doing headstand at all, please take your Dolphin Pose. So that will look like this. You'll put hands clasped and then raise your feet up. But if you are comfortable with headstand, we'll go ahead and do a headstand near the wall or wherever you might be. So go ahead and take your arms, shoulders distance apart, and then go ahead and clasp them. I like to make a little cup on my head. And go ahead and place your head on the ground. And you can go up one leg at a time. And then we'll just hold here for a while to really make those shoulders work. Come into your splits pose if you're getting a little tired. Just make it last a little bit longer. And then come down whenever you're ready. If you want to keep going, keep going. This is our inversions for this class. So if you want to keep working yours, go ahead and hit pause, do some more of that. In the meantime, I'm going to move us on to the next thing. So here's another little trick I learned from the internet. So grab one of your blocks, or again, you can use like a book or anything. This is really just for awareness in this practice. So you have, you have several chunks of your spine, but for the most part in yoga, you have your thoracic spine, which is kind of from here, here, and then you have your lumbar spine, which is your lower part. So basically your lower back and your upper back is kind of lay people term for that. So we're going to try to isolate those in our cat and cow. So first of all, hopefully you know your traditional cat-cows, cow pose, and then cat pose. So we're going to take our object, and first we'll put it on the lower back, get it to balance, and with the awareness of trying to keep that block in that spot, we'll do our cat and cows from just the upper spine. So the cow, cat. So this is just to develop awareness and integrity in your spine, and enhance the mobility so that you really have, you know, all parts of your spine can be equally mobile. Most people tend to have some mobile parts that do a lot of the work and some strong parts that don't move around too much but are maybe really strong. And so by doing this, we're kind of trying to strengthen the weakest link, if you will. So doing these to your breath. And of course they're going to be smaller, that's okay. Maybe one day they'll be big, who knows? That's why we keep practicing, taking care of your body, and who knows what the new day will bring. And then whenever you're done there, we'll go ahead and move the spine to your upper back, or move the block to your upper back, and we'll do the cat-cows in the lower spine. Good there. We finish that, put the block aside. And then because I'm just terribly mean yoga teacher, we're gonna do another plank for time. And again, if I was timing it, I would definitely take my time from earlier in the class and do whatever it took inside my head to beat that, to know that I got a little bit stronger. And as you open up, you should be able to hold it more easily too, because the more you open up, the more you'll be using your bones to bear weight and not your muscles. So you should be able to beat your time. However, you might be tired and maybe not, but that's the vision and that's the hope. So we'll go ahead and go for it. I'm not timing, so I'm just gonna sit here and fight like hell to hold on. So whenever you are ready, go ahead and come into your plank pose. Kind of keep your belly tucked. Push the ground away. Sometimes you can even think of these tough things as like a meditation to just calm your brain altogether. Don't resist it. Just breathe. Don't even think about where you are. Okay, I'm toast. I feel like mine was probably not longer than before, so maybe all that stuff I said about being more open, maybe it's not true. But anyways, that's the experiment, the joy of, like I said, you can keep practicing, you don't know what might happen next. So, I'm gonna get a quick drink of water. All right, so we're gonna come into our oscillating cobra. So coming back onto your belly, kind of take your hands out to 10-2 at fingertips. So this is the most common way that people practice it. I've actually found it's really nice even to have my hands forward. You know, it just depends on your back and your shoulders. So we'll go ahead and do fingertips at 10-2, but you know, you move around and try some different things. And untuck your toes, and on an inhale, want to rise up into a cobra pose, and exhale down, inhale up, exhale down, inhale up. You can always come to the flat of your hands too, that's difficult. It doesn't look quite as pretty, but it definitely still feels good in the back. more of these. All right, and then go ahead and next time you come down, lift your legs and come right into your Locus Pose. The feet can be touching if you want. Palms facing down, gazing down over the bridge of your nose so that your spine, your neck stays in a nice smooth line. And then try to find a little bit of a smile here. You've been working so hard. Be proud of yourself. All right, and then we'll come out of that. Hands under your ribs. All right, so I think before we go into our peak pose, I want to do a little quad stretch. I highly recommend if you have a wall to go ahead and back up against the wall. I do not have that option at this moment. So it's the same pose though. If you're against the wall, put your right knee right up against the wall, so the wall is flush against right here. And then you'll want to walk your front foot forward. I think they call it couch stretch sometimes. If you have the wall, that's just so much better to have that full force. But I will have to use my hands. Use both of them here like this. You can use a strap if you want. And then the other part is to tuck your pelvis. Again, your body's always going to try to do the pose of the least effort, but as I'm sure you know from life, taking the route of least effort is never the best route. So try to tuck your pelvis so you get a nice stretch. We want to stretch the quad and the psoas. Yeah, nice and tall and proud. I think I've also heard this pose called King Arthur. Deep, solid breath. Send that peaceful, breathful energy to your quad and your psoas. And then whenever you're ready, let that one go. We'll do the other side. All right, and we'll let that one go. So we'll come into our peak pose, which is we're gonna do bow pose and then side bow to either side, which is really quite goofy looking. Hopefully you laugh a little bit when you watch me do it, but it's definitely like absolutely so good for surfing, because we're gonna start on bow pose, which on our belly down, back bend, and they're gonna rotate all the way to one side, and then come back and then rotate towards the other, and it's totally that using that core as the the board gets jostled in the water, and to be able to stay on your board. I recognize it as, once I thought of this pose, this is absolutely the perfect thing for the surfing class. But like I said, hopefully you have some fun watching me roll around like again like a flopping whale. So anyway, so we're gonna come down into your belly down. First we'll start with bow pose, and if you can reach back and grab them both at the same time, do that. Otherwise, one and then one. You can again use your strap to just around both feet, and hold it wherever you need it to be. Again, the pose is never, beautiful poses are beautiful, don't get me wrong, but it's really about the action that taking in your body. So you are where you are, and then go ahead and just lift and use your legs to push against your hands, gazing softly over your nose. Come in a nice big beautiful bold bow pose. Yes, slightly uncomfortable, that's how it goes. And then once you think that you've gotten a nice solid deep bow pose for yourself, you're going to want to roll. I'll go right first. So you just roll, shift your weight over. Oh, this happened early. So there you go. It's a little bit awkward, but all of that fighting is good for your core. So once you find your sideways position, again, see if you can lengthen out, coming into a extending your legs, extending your spine, and then we'll roll back towards center, ground yourself for a moment, and then over to the other side. And then once you get to the other side, extend, and then I'll go one more since my last right way was a little bit awkward. I'll go one more time. Back to the center. And then we'll do Pool Pose on this side. And then you can let go whenever you want to. Sorry, I'll keep myself from laughing. I need a little bit more water. Go ahead and keep practicing that if you want. All right, let's go ahead and take a Paschimottanasana to release that back bending. So come into your seat with your legs extended, and go ahead and start with staff pose. So hands by your hips, lengthen your spine up nice and straight. And go ahead and fold forward and grab your feet. You can grab the outside, you can grab the toes, you can grab over the top, and gazing at your big toes to keep your spine straight. Back to your breath whenever your mind wanders. And then we'll let that one go. So we'll do a couple hip poses before our Shavasana. I'm gonna do a double pigeon. If you prefer to do a restorative, like figure 4 on your back, absolutely go for that one. So double pigeon is also called fire log pose, and you want to left leg down first, shin parallel to your body, and then stack your right ankle on top of your left knee, so that both of your calves are running directly on top of each other, keeping your feet flexed to protect your knee. And then if you start tight like this and aren't any more mobile, I know I can fold all the way down, but if this is where you feel like you're stuck, that is totally fine. You can just stay standing up. You can sitting upright. You can just lean forward a little bit if you want. You might find some more space as we breathe here. But you just go ahead and lean forward into it. And again, the hips are they're emotional centers. So if they start talking to you like this, let me out. Just remind yourself that your hips are not going to fall off. You're calm. You're okay. You can breathe through this. And in the end, you're going to be in a better place than you are now. All you have to do is stay calm and stay present. Walk yourself back out of that and switch sides. Figure 4, single pigeon, double pigeon on the other side. So right leg on bottom, left leg on top. Keep that ankle right over the knee, feet flexed to protect your knees. And then go ahead and with a long spine, go ahead and walk yourself forward. back in from this side. And we'll go ahead and take one last pose. So we'll go ahead and do a straddle Upavishta Konasana. Best you can, and then kind of scoot the flesh out from under your bum and go ahead and forward fold from here. Breathing in and out through your nose. Noticing this new space that you're in. Living in the present moment. Feel that all of your energy flowing throughout your body, releasing all the blockages. Ready for anything. Calmness throughout. Calmness but energized all at the same time. Awakened. Then walk yourself back in from that, and go ahead and carefully place your hands underneath the thighs, just above your knees. So go ahead and bring your legs back to the center, and then make sure you're on the center of your mat. We'll go ahead and roll down one vertebrae at a time into your Shavasana pose, taking your legs as wide as your mat, palms up. Deep breath in through your nose, out through your mouth, and then let go. Let go and let your open energy, palms up to receive. Find peace. Alright, and I encourage you to stay here as long as you want. Some practices, you do 10-minute Shavasana, but I'm going to go ahead and bring you out now. So go ahead and wiggle your fingers and toes, and then life come back into your body. And go ahead and make your way up into a seated position. Use it cross-legged if you want. I've been doing all those Ashtanga classes, so I'll go do a little lotus. And bring your hands to your heart center, gazing down at your fingertips in gratitude for your practice, for this day, for your health, and for all the people that are around you. Namaste.